What's good, YouTube? It's Adam from Music Mobile. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to go ahead and remake from scratch Brother Stone by Don Toliver featuring Kodak Black. Tempo for this one is 157 beats per minute, and the track is produced by SkipOnDaBeat and 206 Derek. There are 6 different sections in this track, so let's start off with the first one being the intro, that piano. For that piano, we're going to go ahead and use Logic's Studio Piano. We're going to use the default settings that load up. Let's go ahead and draw in that melody. Let's go duplicate this over. Focus on the second bar. All right, and all together. All right, so that doesn't sound that good right now. Let's go ahead and adjust the velocity on each note. We're gonna go over to function. We're gonna go over to MIDI transform, and we're gonna go to random velocity. We're gonna go with a 110 to about, let's say 60 range. We're gonna go and select and operate, and we get this. All right, not all the notes are hitting at the same velocity, which makes it sound a whole lot better. And then we got to add in some lower notes. So let's just draw in our C sharp right here. Stretch that out a bit. All right, so there's our piano. Now let's get it sounding like a wonky type of sound like you heard in the original track. So to do that, we're gonna go over to our effects browser here, and we're gonna bring in an effect called Sampled by yours truly. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna turn off the bit crusher right here. We're gonna leave it on element 1. All right, we're gonna turn off the wobbleness, some of the saturation, and we'll just turn up some of the chorus here. So using the element 1 right here kind of gives you that sort of old timely sound. We're gonna go ahead and close that up, duplicate that over 4 bars, and then we'll bring in an EQ just to take out some of the low mids there. Okay, so that sounds good. Let's move on to the next section. We're gonna go ahead and duplicate this over. We're gonna duplicate this piano track, and we're gonna do like sort of a top line melody onto it for this pattern. Just go and duplicate that over. So there's our top line right there. Next, let's go ahead and adjust the wonkiness of the sound to it. We're gonna go ahead and open up Sampled, and we're gonna change the element from element 1 to element 2. It kind of muffles it a little bit more. Then we're going to group these two tracks together and add in some reverb to put it in a space. Let's close that out. Let's group these two tracks together, Shift Command G. And then we're going to go over to reverb. We'll go over to chroma verb. We're going to go over to a preset under synth reverbs, the large synth room preset. And it sounds like this. Just pull up the dry. All right, so that is our piano line. Next, let's bring in the drums. I'm gonna create a new software instrument track. We're gonna bring in the drum kit. I'm gonna go over to the kit I created for this tutorial, the Brother Stone drum kit. There it is right there. This drum kit features a bunch of one-shots as well for bass, a piano, a couple bass and a piano. You can find all these sounds included in the Hardstone Psycho deconstructed drum kit. It is broken down by track. So if you want certain drum sounds from a certain track from the album, it's also organized by sound type as well. If you want to just go through the sounds and find ones for your track, all the sounds from Hardstone Psycho, at least the drums and bass sounds in that kit, link will be down below. So let's start off with the snare. It's a basic snare on a 3 pattern. Let's go ahead and draw in our first 808. There are 3 of them. And we're just going to go ahead and duplicate that. All right, next let's put in the driving force of this beat, which is the hi-hat. Right over here, there's going to be a roll. So I'm going to use my brush tool over here on my right click. I'm going to change this over to a 30-second note repeat. And we're just going to paint in 4. All right, and then we're going to bring back this. Let's repeat that. Has a little stop right there. Let's go and duplicate this over. And then in this last bar, we get a lot of rolls here. So for one, we're going to give it a darker tone here by adding a layered hi-hat here. And we're going to take out all of these, just going to give it some space here. We're going to use our brush tool once again, and we're going to paint in 2 hits right here. Another hit right here. We're going to draw in 64th, repeat right over here. And then we're going to have another roll right here, sort of pitching down. All right, so all that repeated over the 8 bars, and it sounds like this in context. All right, now let's get to the open hat. Let's move on to the next section, the third one. We're going to copy all of this over. We're going to get a new hi-hat pattern, at least just for 1 bar. So we're going to take that out right there. And all we're going to do is this. Oh, we need 1 more right there. So that's all that switches up for the 808 right there. Then we're going to bring in the second 808, which is like a Buzzy 808. And we get another one right over here. And then we're going to bring in a piano, and for this one it's a sample, just to show you how to use one shot. So right now my piano one shot is in a quick sampler. Here it is right here. So I'm going to copy down the same 808 pattern from here, and it sounds like this. Except we got to bring it down 1 octave. And that layers up the 808. All right, let's go on to the next section. So we're gonna go ahead and just copy over this pattern over here. I'm gonna bring that down to here. All right, let's just pitch it up to the correct octave. Except this last note is gonna go up. And in the track, there is some pitch sort of drop off to the sound as well. So we're gonna go ahead and emulate that. Let's go over to our automation right over here. Let's make this bigger so we can see what's happening. And we're gonna change it from note velocity over to pitch bend. It's off my screen, but it's an option here. And what we're gonna do basically on just one note, we're gonna bring down the pitch or slide it down. The note that I'm talking about is this one right here. So I'm gonna draw in a dot. We're drawing another dot and we're just gonna bring this down. It's gonna be a slight sort of pitch effect, sort of pitch slide, if you will, but it's required to get the sound of the original 808. And let's bring this one back as well. And it sounds like this. I want this to be 0. And this one to be 0 as well. A small thing, but it makes a difference. And I'm just gonna make sure that this one is dragged down as well. Then what we're gonna do right here to make things easier, we're just gonna copy this over the full 8 bars. And of course, add in that filtered clap. So we got our clap sound right here. We're just gonna create a new pattern region and it's gonna go on the 3. Now let's go on to the next section, the 5th section. We're gonna go ahead and copy this pattern right over. Actually, let's copy over this pattern over here. Copy that right over to here. We're just gonna take out the 808 on this one because we are going to bring in some power chords here and add in a bass as well. So for the power chords, let's start off with that. We'll create a new software instrument track. We'll go over to our library browser. We're gonna go over to Legacy. We're gonna go to Logic. We're gonna go over to Guitars, Electric Guitars, and we're gonna go over to Sunburst Power Chords. Let's go ahead and draw on that pattern. So we're gonna grab this original 808 pattern. We're gonna bring it down to here. And we're gonna pitch it up. And this note right here is gonna be brought up 1 semitone. So it's gonna sound like this. Doesn't quite sound the way we want it yet, but let's fix that. We're gonna go over right before our chorus right here. We're gonna go over to distortion. We're gonna go over to, we're gonna go to amp and delays. We're gonna go to bass amp designer. And we're gonna bring in a preset called the Little Helper. And it sounds like this. Gives it more of that electric grunge sort of guitar chord that we need. And then we got a lead guitar on top of that. Once again, we're gonna create a new software instrument track. We're gonna go over to our library browser. We're gonna go back to the same guitar that we went to last time. Or sorry, at least the section, guitars, electric guitars. And we're gonna go over to Sunburst lead. This time we're gonna copy down the same pattern, but we gotta make that a little higher. So let's go ahead and select all our notes and just pitch that up. Again, on our lead right here, we got to mimic sort of that pitch stuff that happened on the guitar sound. So let's do that in a similar fashion that we did with the other 808. So we're going to go over to our automation right here. We are already on our pitch bend automation. Let's just click in a dot, make sure it starts on 0. And then once again, for this note right here, we want to drop out the pitch. So we're going to go like this, create another dot here. Let's just zoom on in and we're going to bring it down a little bit here. That's a little too much. And then at the end of this note right here, it's going to drop a little bit as well. So we're gonna go like this. All right, just a little bit. Bring that back. So we can just go ahead and select all of this and let's just duplicate it over the 8 bars. Repeat, repeat, repeat. and all together it sounds like this. Then we got to bring in that bass. So if once again, I'm going to use this bass one shot over here that we have. It sounds like this. Let's go ahead and just draw in a MIDI region. It sounds like this. Sort of like a Reese bass one shot. And we're just going to copy up this pattern right here. It's just going to give us the low end that we need. Just to fill it up. Course, our kick. So we're going to go ahead and copy our 808 pattern once again, bring it down over to here, and I'm just going to take that and we're going to go over to the root note of this kick, which is right there. And then we go into our last section of the track. So let's go ahead and copy over this intro pattern over here. We don't need everything, but we'll just copy over that. Let's take that. First thing we're going to have to do is duplicate this piano because we're going to go ahead and halftime it all. So instead of bouncing it down to audio, we could just duplicate the audio tracks, sorry, the softer tracks, and bring down the MIDI. And then we're going to go over to the group track over here, and we're going to bring in Logic's Beat Breaker. And specifically, we're going to use the halftime effect. It's saved as my default, but all you got to do is click on the halftime effect and you're going to get that halftime sound. And then we just got to delete everything else and bring in a bass. And we're going to use this bass right over here. So let's go ahead and draw in that bass pattern. So all together, sounds like this. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and mix it, arrange it, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to the full remix we just put together, Brother Stone by Don Toliver featuring Kodak Black. That right there is Brother Stone by Don Toliver featuring Kodak Black, remade in Logic Pro. If you're Logic Pro users out there, I'm gonna go ahead and save this entire session for you, place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm gonna export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that playback down below the like button as well. If you do have a question on this or just want to chat or any suggestions for future videos, let's go and chat down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.